Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Longish editorial, so get ready to spend around 20 to 25 minutes on this editorial. But very interesting editorial. You see, Amit Shah yesterday spoke about foreign infiltration in India. Amit Shah spoke about the growth of Muslim population in India. Amit Shah spoke about the growth of Hindu population in India, and he tweeted figures. Now, actually, let's talk about it. Let's find out why he did this, because there was no context to this data that he just shared with the world. There was no context to it. So why did Amit Shah share this data with the world? And is this narrative that is being that he is trying to set, is this narrative actually correct? Let's talk about it. Let's get right to the show. Now, let's first talk about the data that Amit Shah spoke about. Let's first talk about what he said. Then let us derive our own analysis of this data. Then let us figure out why was this data all of a sudden presented to the world yesterday without no apparent context to this huge presentation. So let's talk about that, and the first point we'll dwell into are the data that he presented. So he says, in fact, he doesn't say it, he quotes the census. He says in 1951, there were 84.1% Hindus in India and 9.8% Muslims. In 1971, he says Hindus, the percentage decreased to 82.72% and Muslims increased to 11%, which means Hindus saw a decrease of minus 1.38% and Muslims saw an increase of population of 1.2%. In 1991, Hindus again further decreased to 81% and therefore seeing a decrease of 1.72%. Muslims increased to 12.12%, therefore seeing an increase of 1.12%. 2001, Hindus further decreased 80.5%, Muslims 13.4%, which means Muslims increased by 1.25%, Hindu decreased by 1%. In 2011, Hindus decreased further to 79%, Muslim increased to 14.2%, Muslims saw an increase of 0.8% and Hindus saw a decrease of minus 1.5%. So gradually, Hindus have been decreasing from 1.38, 1.72, 1.0, 1.5 in Hindus have been decreasing, and Muslims have been constantly increasing from 1.2, 1.12, 1.25 and 0.8%. This is what the census from 1951 to 2011 shows. Now, looking at the figure, what are we concluding? We are concluding that Muslims are growing faster than Hindus in India. Therefore, there is a chance that Muslims may take over India. One day, Muslim population will be more than Hindu population. While I am not saying this is what Amit Shah said, but this is what this figure shows you, isn't it? Very clearly. Now, let us understand this figure more deeply. You see, to understand this figure, you have to see this figure with another figure. That is the actual figures, the actual incremental figures of both Hindus and Muslims. Let's take Hindus for starters. 1951, we saw 30.4 crores Hindus in India. 1961, there were 36.7 crores Hindus in India. Hindus increased by a tune of 6.3 crores between 1959 and 1961. 1971, there were 45.3 crore Hindus, which is 8.6 crores incremental. 81, 56.2 crores, which is 10.9 crore incremental. 91, 69 crores, which is 12.8 crore incremental. 2000, 82 crores, 82.8 crores, my apologies, which is 13.8 crore incremental, and 2011, 96.6 crore, which is 13.8 crore incremental. So technically, Hindus have grown from 30.4 crores in 1951 to 96.6 crores in 2011. This has been the growth of Hindus over the years. Now, let's look at Muslim growth in figurative form. Muslims started 1951, 3.5 crores, 1961, 4.7 crores, an increment of 1.2 crores, 1971, 6.1 crore, an increment of 1.4 crores when Hindus at same time had increased by 8.6 crores. 1981, figure of 8 crores, increment of 1.9 crores. 1991, figure of 10.7 crores, increment 2.7 crores. 2001, population of 13.8 crores, increment of 3.1 crores. And 2011, population of 17.2 crores, increment of 3.4 crores. In 2011, Hindus increased by 13.8 crores and Muslim increased by 3.4 crores. So while the percentage could show you a very different figure, what you and I need to understand is the actual figures, the actual numbers are far, far different. That gives you a very different picture. Because on an average, if you see Hindu growth, 11, average Muslim growth, 2.3. Now you do your calculation. I heard a lot of people saying that, oh, in next 30 years, everything is gone. Everything will be Muslim. Calculate. 30 years, 11 multiplied by 30, 2.2 multiplied by 30. Who is going to be more? Whose population will still be dominating? So this entire myth about Muslim is going to take over India, Muslims are going to come and take over India one day, it is just another matter of 10 years, 20 years and all. These 10 years, 20 years figures I have been hearing from my childhood. A lot of so-called cultural organizations have been talking about this right from my childhood, like I said. So please let us not get carried away by these figures because these figures say nothing. Now let me give you one more figure which possibly a lot of these data will not give you. And that is the fertility rate. Now this fertility rate is Pew Research Center has analyzed it, and this data, the source of this data is National Family Health Survey 1992 to 2015. So it is our source. It is in Government of India source. Now according to this source, the fertility rates have fallen in India in all religion. Okay. Now fertility rate means the number of children an average Indian woman in India is expected to have in her lifetime. This is what fertility rate means. Now let's look at Muslim fertility rate. Muslim fertility rate 1992 was 4.4. 4.4 children per woman, Muslim woman. And in 2015, it has fallen to 2.6 child per Muslim woman, which means there has been a fall of 1.8. The fertility rate has fallen by 1.8. Now let us look at Hindus. A Hindu woman would have 3.3 children in her lifetime, 1992, and in 2015, it fell to 2.1. 2.1. The fall here is 1.2. So technically speaking, the fertility rate has fallen more among the Muslim population than among the Hindu population. This figure also needs to be considered when we make random statements like, Hindu khatre mein hai and, the country is going to be dominated by Muslims and all of that. These figures also needs to be considered. That's number one. Number two, but this is not what Amit Shah said. Amit Shah said this is because there has been infiltration. There have been people, possibly, a lot of them from Bangladesh, a lot of Muslims coming into India from Bangladesh. So he said that's the reason. And this has been happening since 1951 to 2011, infiltration. So now, my question to Mr. Shah then is, you see, BJP government has been in power since 2014. Now it is high time that they start taking responsibilities. You have the baton now, run, prove yourself. That's when you call yourself a star, a Vishwaguru and all of that. Prove yourself. 11 years, what have you done to stop infiltration? Why are you showing these figures to us? Weren't you able to control it? If you are not able to control it, then what kind of absolute power are you talking about? 2 terms out of this, 10 years out of this 11 years that you are in government, you had absolute majority, brute majority. You could put chief ministers and others behind bars at a drop of a hat. At a drop of a hat, you could pull down governments, you could threaten politicians. All of that was happening. What happened to Hindu Bachao? What happened to Hindu Bachao? Why couldn't you stop infiltration? Are you actually coming down in this press conference and telling us that we failed? 10 years, nahi kar paya. Nahi rok paya infiltration. Nahi rok paya infiltration. Is that what you are trying to say? If not, if you are doing it, then why tell us? Do it. And then after the current census 2025, hopefully, I don't think that's going to happen now. So 2026 or 2027, whenever you do your census, come and tell us, listen, you know what? We put a stop to infiltration and here the figures are down. Absolutely fine. Otherwise, what are you complaining? That's my point number 2. My point number 3. You see, this entire exercise, I understand, it's got nothing to do with these figures or Muslim population or infiltration or nothing to do with all of this. This entire exercise is because in the last 1 month, things have not been going well for the Bharatiya Janata Party. They're not doing too well in Bihar. Sonam Wangchuk's arrest did not do any good to them. In fact, it's actually going to come to bite them. Third is this shoe hurling incident that happened in the Supreme Court. You see, their own core supporters are now in war of words with Ambedkarites. There is almost a caste squabble that's happening in India currently. This definitely is not good for Bharatiya Janata Party because it's their voter base that's getting disturbed. So it is imperative that Bharatiya Janata Party diverts attention. They tried to do that with Mayawati. To the best of my knowledge, that incident, that speech of Mayawati, former Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, was meant to divert attention. And the second is this, talking about Muslim population. So that's the second point. So this, I don't think, is a real issue or an issue that he wanted to talk to you about. This was an issue that primarily was brought in front of you so that the attention is diverted from Sonam Wangchuk in Ladakh and the current I won't call it conflict, but squabble between the so-called high caste Hindus and the Ambedkarites. So this is the point that I wanted to make today. And what is important for us is to understand that if there is a problem of infiltration, then the government is answerable. The government cannot always put the blame back on Nehru. Cannot. Now it is time that this government after 11 years answers. If there is infiltration, why infiltration? What are you doing? Why are you not able to stop it? And secondly, throwing up such figures without actually explaining the figure in its entirety, I don't think is a fair presentation. So that's point number 1. Before I end, I want to spend 5 minutes talking about a subject that I want to discuss with you on Monday. You see, these are topics that people don't watch. These are the topics that possibly we exist. That's the reason why SW was made. We want to get these kind of topics in front of you. I want to show you an interview of a child. This little 14-year-old girl lost her father. Her father from a tree. Her father was a farmer. He took loans because he thought he could do well with his agriculture. Didn't. The current rains in Maharashtra absolutely destroyed his farm. Couldn't pay back the loan. This child in this video talks about how every 15 minutes her father would get calls from creditors. I just want you to watch this video. And I leave this thought with you. Monday, let's discuss farmer distress at length. Let's get deep dive into this subject. Let's talk more about this.
कसं पण येऊन भेटते ते मला.
कसं भेटते ते?
असं म्हणजे लय लाड करतात. माझ्या भाऊन माझा लाड होता जास्त.
पप्पा काय म्हणायचं तुला?
काय नको नुसतं पोलीस होऊन दाखव म्हणायचे मला.
तर पप्पा तुझे गेले तर काय काय कमी गेले पप्पा तुझे?
कर्ज होतं 15-15 मिनिटाला फोन असायचा सारखं. अर्धा तास आम्हाला 1.5 तास बसून दाखवलेला त्यांनी किती फोन येतात असं म्हणजे दमच नव्हता. सकाळी उठलं फोनच. एकदा फोन आणि डबल घेतला. असं रडायचं पण म्हणजे असं आम्ही रानात आलो की सुट्टी दिवशी ती रडायचं गळा धरून धरून. मम्मीच्या बी माझ्या बी रडायचं. मग त्यांना सांगा म्हणायचं कोणाचं फोन येतंय काय होतंय तर सांगत नव्हतं. गप्प बसायचं असं म्हणजे सहन करायची ही उरली होती त्याच्याकडे. मग त्यांनी सहन केलं असं केलं.
आता काय वाटतं पप्पा गेले तुला?
वाईट वाटतंय म्हणजे अशी कोणाची गाडी वाजली की पप्पाची गाडी आली म्हणून वाटतंय.